let's enable the mics. Hello, everybody. I'm Hans. You probably know me since you're on this channel, or if not, my name is literally the name of the channel. We will be casting along with Jenna, the fifth ESL's Open Qualifiers. As I say this, Noski says they're ready. BRUHXO team, are you guys ready? What's your Twitch? Exactly like my gamer tag. Due to the stream delay, it's not yet up, but we'll get there.
How you doing, Hans?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Awesome. So, BRUHXO team, are you guys ready? We'll wait on your call. Yeah, I don't have a ready or any kind of cue from the BRUHXO team. Great. Good luck. Have fun. May the best team win.
We will.
And yeah, so this was a really, and I do mean really, swift intro, since we want to get the ball rolling as fast as possible. As soon as the players are in, we're off to a good match, right?
Yes. Alrighty, so let's get right into the map, talk about some influences with the actual pick and bans. So, Consulate as a map, we were talking about this a little bit before the match started. It's got a lot of verticality to it. A lot of its volume really does come in its height. So, you could definitely see and really predict a lot of the attackers are going to go in the way of attempting some vertical pushes, attempting some, angles with verticality. So we can definitely see a lot of piano plays. We could probably see a lot of possible hatch play and something like that. As well as that, we are going to be seeing not too much roaming, hopefully from the defenders. The map itself is not very big on roaming due to the lack of surface area. Like I said, a lot of the volume does come in verticality, so surface area kind of thinner rather than the actual height of the building. We're also going to be seeing here a possible influence with the picket bans. We already have been seeing a lot of influences with that. Not a lot of emphasis on taking away roam clear operators such as Jackal. A little bit for Nomad, but she is an all-around operator, so we can see that. But something like Gridlock, definitely not going to be banned in this situation. And yeah, so we don't really either see too much emphasis on hard breaching, which kind of is a surprise to me at this point because I really did predict that they would attempt to take away some of the hard breaching capabilities that the attack could assume throughout the game. But again, that might be just taking away some of their possible opportunities as the game goes on, depending on, performance and all of that. So yeah, so we are going to be seeing the Nomad, Capital, Maestro, and Valkyrie ban. This is definitely a lot of emphasis on the intel side of things. That being said, a lot of intel is going to be lost for the defenders. That puts them at an inherent disadvantage. And with the current statistics on Season 10 Siege GG, not a lot of defense has been won in Pro League. And being that this is the qualifiers itself, it looks like it might actually fall in line, possibly, rather than a normal match such as, a Go format. So hopefully we'll be able to see a lot of defense wins for these teams, but we are going to be predicting here not too much defense, more so offense.
So yeah, I'm really glad you pointed out that the intel gathering gadgets will be banned on defense here. Not that you can totally wipe out any intel gathering techniques by just banning two operators. It's quite obvious here that Mira has has a gadget that allows you to see without being seen. It's not exactly a camera, but hey, still, you can gather intel with it without even talking about both Modzies and Echo's drones. Mira going upstairs to reinforce those hatches, that brought me to believe that maybe we would try to hold maybe the bathroom with those black mirrors. But apparently I was wrong. Noski here just coming back down to, at the security room. So at this level of play, anything, or everything should I say, is accounted for, and no errors or no simple errors will happen. Still, I am surprised as to why exactly a 3-armor operator went up there to reinforce a hatch. With that being said though, the BRUHXO team here is set to attack, so Thatcher and most of his team. Detox Dragon losing the connection to the game here. Yeah, with that being said, the attackers are already in full control of the top floor, and they'll be well, turning their attentions to the possible roamers, which we do have two of them. So Matzi here, played by Makarov, and Habibi are both in the public bathroom, so they're not exactly trying to outflank and outmaneuver their opponents. They're really just waiting for face-to-face firefights, hoping to have a better aim and faster reflexes than their opponents.
Yeah, it does definitely seem to me like a very more so hunkering down rather than a, traditional roam like a Vigil or a Jaeger going straight out into the wild that is the consulate. But nonetheless, hopefully we will be able to see quite a lot of engagements between this Mozzie Mute and these attackers. But we're going to be seeing Mozzie getting droned out along with Mute. They are still holding very tight angles, but Ash is able to get the first blood of the round. This is going to be for Mozzie through the wall. So again, not too keen on some wall bangs for the defenders, but hey, I guess it all happens.
And here, Habibi shows us exactly why they picked the bathroom to defend. First of all, well, you do have this strong positioning with the shotgun nonetheless, and you do have a few teammates that can help you. The map, as we talked about, is big on the verticality. It's a 3-story building rather than a 2-story building, and as such, many walls or many floors are going to be destructible. This just played in here. I think Noski tossed the C4 to the ceiling, and thus getting a kill on somebody who was going to push Habibi, thus saving the roaming game. Thermite, for some reason, seems to be playing for time, so one of their players has lost the connection, because he's not AFK by any means. He just moved there to hide behind that. And yeah, I am really curious to see or to understand why he's not exactly asking for a rehost here in the game chat. But yeah, I don't really understand what he's doing either. So this is he already knows, right, that the round was going to be lost. So he was playing for time, in my opinion, trying to get his 5th guy back in the team as much as possible. He may even get 2 kills here. He got a kill at least, so good on him for that one. But yeah, this was definitely not the type of movement of a man who is trying to until the very, very last second. Definitely not.
Yeah, but as we say that, it does not look like any more of the attackers. Oh, just as I say that, the last attacker does rejoin the match. We will also be seeing a little bit of a different setup here. We're going to have Jackal and Gridlock be put into play rather than the Thermite and Ash. So something quite different from these operators here. Oh, now we're going to be seeing a 6-pick onto IQ, but still, so Gridlock being used as more of a defensive roam clear or defensive, flank clear. And IQ obviously being a straightforward utility operator, this does add quite a lot of value to a team, especially with big utility operators such as Gridlock and IQ, but a little bit surprised to not see as much actual, like, straight fragging from the attack now, such as, Ash or somebody like, well, Nomad is banned, but you get the idea. Yeah.
Sorry about that. And yeah, so there's one thing I'd like to check up on real quick, and since we're in between two rounds here. For some reason, I can't start the replay buffer, which would enable us to have the replays. It says I'm out of disk space. Am I real out of disk space? I might just be. So just give me 2.5 seconds to empty the recycling bin. Let's try this again. And it yet doesn't work. So maybe we will not have the replays up for this first game. This is that type of thing that could be probably figured out really easily if I put my mind to it. But since the game is not going to be waiting for us, we will do without the replays. Sorry about that, everybody that was here yesterday and that really found that the replays did were the finishing touch, right? The difference between a good and a great stream. Well, I'm sorry about them being absent tonight. We will make sure to have them back on next time. As Noski tosses his Nitrocell in, well, straight at nobody. He saw somebody at the main entrance, but that silhouette just did not get into the building in time to get caught by that Nitrocell. So Noski here has first of all lost a good piece of utility. Second of all, well, he has made his position known. So the advantage of surprise now will be lost as the attackers are once again just taking positioning on the top floor. However, this floor this time is the floor of the objective. So for example here, IQ Yeeha, I believe, was already basically firing into the objective, which is a way faster push than what we saw last round. And therefore, so far, it's a way more promising round for the BRUHXO team. So, since you're not taking over... Oh,
Sheer,
God damn
very
it.
decisive push from them.
I had muted the Discord. Sorry about that. So, I was talking, not hearing you. You were talking, not hearing me, or not being heard by me. Yeah.
So, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, So, they did not hear any of what I said.
No, yeah, I realize I have this one shortcut that mutes me in Discord, and I've used it inadvertently by typing in the chat. So yeah, since I posted that message in the chat earlier, nothing of what you said has been heard. My bad.
Okay, so did you talk about admin yet?
About admin? No, not well. I talked. Yeah, I've talked about admin. It's the same entry that what we had last time. Double kill here by Noski, nicely done. However, with the objective being on the top floor, this attack was progressing to the objective itself way faster by virtue of the BRUHXO team entering so much more closely to the objective than last round.
Definitely. So, unfortunately, it's going to be the defenders winning out round 2 again, taking advantage of every single opportunity that they get to frag out, and especially with intel and the enemy team even relatively giving them the intel that they want, especially with their hard prominence on admin office. It doesn't really leave too much question as to where the attacking team can be, and it gives a lot of advantage for the defending team to kind of play out their own pace and really just win out very easy engagements for themselves. Get flanks, when you have a singular push or, a very one-sided push onto a specific spot in the map, again, like I said, it doesn't leave too many questions as to where the rest of the team could be. So, especially when you're setting the pace for your team and when you have to set the pace, it's good to have a duality to your push so you can get into the outlets that the defenders aren't necessarily peeking at.
So with 2 rounds won in a row by Katsu, they'll be down to their tertiary site here, which will be the main entrance. And as such, well, they're slowly but surely going down in the list of their preferred sites to defend. Maybe this will be the first round won by the BRUHXO team. Just as a quick context, both of these teams come off of a victory. So both of these teams have won their first game in the 5th Open Qualifiers. So either of those players were really off to a good start, and the win streak will have to end for one of those two teams. And yeah, my English is not at its best. I'll just let you take over.
Yeah, me neither. But nonetheless, we are now, like Hansa, we're going to be put into our third round.
Third round, indeed.
Yes, third round. This is going to be another push for the attacking team onto admin office. A little bit surprised that they're going to be going admin office, but especially having a similar push, not necessarily the location of it, but having a similar push as to last round, it kind of makes it easier for the defending team to predict as to where the attacking team is going, especially with the amount of droning they're doing. The one-sided push from them doesn't, again, leave a lot of room for them to have that duality. But hopefully, yeah, we are going to be seeing the gridlock going in a different spot than the rest of the team, so she might be able to go on her own and get some fragging capabilities for herself, especially with the Mozzie being a little bit distracted by the droning. She might be able to go up and flank him, maybe get a kill or 2. We are going to be seeing Mozzie jumping down, possibly do the sight to the gridlock. Unfortunately, she was not able to kill him. He is able to go down to the bottom floor garage and kind of find his way back up to the objective, but he was unnerved from his spot. That being said, it is not necessarily a good thing for the defenders to kind of give up that area, especially with the attackers being very strong and seem to be very heavy-minded on that spot. We're going to be seeing, however, the kill on Buck, and it's going to be a refrag and yet another refrag for the defending team. This is going to be a 3v4 now.
Thatcher really is the last operator alive that's putting pressure on the top floor, and ironically, that might be a good thing, as many of those the BRUHXO team were going up top. This distracted the Katsu team. Many of the defenders that were previously on the objectives have come up on the second floor. Sorry, thus more or less emptying the objective. I really only see a silhouette on. By the bombs, and it would be BRUHXO who's on his drone. So should you be able to attack aggressively here, you may even find yourself into an empty objective. Let's not forget the verticality on this room. So obviously the ceiling being almost a team kill here. The ceiling being totally destructible. Having control of the objective would not have been enough to guarantee the diffuser being planted, but still that would have been a good movement here on the attacker's part. With that being said, though, Katsu came out of his drone. Katsu being the team name. Nog came out of his drone right at the perfect moment here.
Yeah, quite the interesting display for the defenders to really be pulling that out there, but nonetheless, it was quite around for the attackers as well as the defenders. It really did seem like the defenders got more out of playing top floor rather than the attackers, especially with the amount of kills they were able to harbor from the beginning of the round, rather to even the last minute of the round. They really did waste a lot of time for the attackers, along with getting quite a lot of influential frags. You know, considering the Buck and the IQ went down to a top floor roam from Doc, Mozzie, Smoke, etc. But yeah, I would have to say that the top floor roam was definitely very successful for the defenders, and they do have quite a lot of fragging potential for that top floor for themselves. Well, they did.
As far as I can tell, we're going for the exact same defense as we did last time, so the Katsu's team composition here is the exact same, and should we see the same strategies being brought up again, I would expect Makarov and Habibi to be defending or to be hunkering down in the bathroom, in the bathrooms. Yeeha apparently is already setting up his drone to know if they're in the area, so the advantage of surprise for the strategies now will be lost, assuming that the current tides keep on rolling. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but yeah, assuming the rest of the game goes as it has started, the Katsu team would eventually keep on winning rounds, and they have to keep on going in objectives that they have already defended with strategies that they have already shown BRUHXO how to do them. So if the BRUHXO team knows what they're going up against, this time maybe they'll be able to foil the defense. For example, the roamers are going to be exactly at the same place, so maybe just drop a nade using Buck from the top floor or something along those lines. Could be a quick and unexpected end to the roamers here.
That being said, it can be used as really, if I were to play a little bit devil's advocate on you, it can be used as a way for the defenders to predict the way that the attackers are going themselves. So
Absolutely.
if the defenders are, savvy enough and can adapt to a lot of what the attackers are doing, especially, having the knowledge to know what they're doing at that moment, the pushes that they're making, kind of keep that in mind, they are going to have a very heightened chance of making yet another play against them and kind of leaving them a little bit questioning the way that they're playing. But we're going to be seeing Mute getting quite a lot of pressure from the attackers here. It might turn out to be another situation where he either takes the shotgun or he might get the nitro kill. Just as I say that, it is going to be on a Buck coming from the top floor. Thatcher attempting to put a little bit more pressure on the Mute. Doesn't really know how to go about this, it seems. But it doesn't prove very well for him to go in the room itself, considering that he is ahead as a shotgun. But as I say that, the Thatcher is going to take advantage of the distraction Gridlock is set up for him and kill off the Mute. We're going to still have Mozzie playing above piano and cabinet. He is going to be on the hatch. 3-3 situation going on with quite a lot of frags. Mozzie, keep in mind, he is going to continue roaming along with the IQ attempting to go upstairs for him. Mozzie did drop into piano. IQ is going to be watching that like a hawk, though. So we might be able to see fragging potential from either one of them, depending on who gets the draw on that one first.
The one thing I'd also like to point out is that everybody was roaming. BRUHXO just came back, but the attackers were... Oh, nice one tap here. We're on objective. Rav's Thermite, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, is on OBJ. Now, he has a diffuser. His position seems to be unknown, so he might, if he's even lucky, plant the diffuser. He just saw the the top of the head of his silhouette there, does not get the first kill, does not get the second one either, so this is looking bad. He took damage from a few different bullets from a few different opponents. His time is running short, his options were running dry as well. Katsu winning the 4th round thanks to Nog, who was at the right time, at the right place at the right time.
Definitely. I can agree with you on that one, but as we get to put into round 5, we are going to be seeing a very lopsided game this time around, a 4-0 for Katsu. So, Hans, can you please describe to the audience, if they don't already know, what the no point of return means for this team if they do so happen to be in this position?
Yeah, so absolutely the no point of return, or as I personally say it, point of no return, different twist on the word there, is, yeah, it's the same, it's just personal preference at this point. Not to not to diss on what you were just saying. Yeah, so the one team now has, in this case Katsu, has a big lead on the BRUHXO team. Such a lead that it would be quite difficult for the BRUHXO team to come back off of this disadvantage. It's not yet that far off, right? They only have 4 points, which is not as intimidating as, say, 5 or 6-0. But if you do find yourself in a 6-0 situation or 5-0 situation, the game is not yet over. You may still come back from that game, but it is really difficult, it is really unlikely, to the extent where you would say reasonably the odds of them coming back are so low that we would just say the map's over, the match is over. This will happen quite quickly here. If the BRUHXO team is not able to win a single round in the next few minutes here, they'll be as good as gone, to be real. And this is unfortunate, always. When the matches are even or are really tied closely together, well, you never know who's going to win the map, and it does keep you on edge. You really don't know how it's going to go, and not knowing that just gives us so much more, it just makes it so much nicer to watch the game. So I really hope here the BRUHXO team is able to pull at least 1 or 2 rounds off, because it's also going to be hitting hard on the morale if you lose to a 7-0. And the open qualifiers are not over, not for a long time. It's not single elimination. Even if you lose, you keep on playing till you lose 3 times, to be specific. So they really do not want to head into their next game potentially demoralized and potentially not, well, in a worst case scenario, blaming each other for any and all mistakes they may have made, right? So yeah, I think this will be it for me rambling. Let's jump into the 5th round. Do you want to take it over?
Yes, sir. So we are going to be seeing a pulse coming from below in blue room. So far, the attackers seem to not really know where he is. As I say that, IQ is going to get the kill on a very roaming Jaeger from the defense. So what that says for the attack is that they do have the knowledge as to where the defenders are. They do possibly have the knowledge as to where they are in the objective as well. And hopefully on the pulse, who might be roaming and have the potential to get fragging opportunities for himself. However, it does go the same way for the defense, as Echo does have eyes on most, if not all, of the attackers attempting to go through the long desk area with the vending machines. But Habana here, as we switch to her perspective, and Echo are going to be at odds with each other potentially in the few coming seconds here, as we do see a 5v3 now with BRUHXO now taking advantage of Katsu with a 5v1 situation. Now this is a sweep from the attack, now a 4v1 with the Pulse getting a kill, but he gets shut down almost immediately from the Buck, giving the attackers their first and hopefully not the last round that they won.
It really does seem as if my rambling foreshadowed this moment, and it's honestly really nice to see. I mean, lopsided games are not as exciting as really even ones, and I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. So even though as casters we do have to remain neutral, so we're not exactly rooting for one team, we're just rooting for a nice spectacle here.
Definitely.
Is spectacle, is it like a show, or, I mean, there's also spectacle as in glasses, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't using like French vocabulary with an English accent. That would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, no. Spectacle is a word. It's like basically a show.
Okay, great.
A showing. But yeah, nonetheless, walking in to our now 6th round, this is going to be the last round for Katsu to stay on defense. They will be going the same site as they did last round, so if they do choose to have the same setup that they did before, the same composition, which it does seem like it is, they are going to have to change up something a little bit different, being that the broad team is now taking advantage of what they know, the info that they do have on the actual positioning of the defenders. So it is good that they are kind of, not necessarily being lost as to where the defenders are. They are definitely kind of learning from their mistakes and learning from what the defenders have to offer, and with that they did gain themselves a round. But however, we will be talking about this round for regulation purposes. So with 3 minutes now left on the clock, there is going to be a lot of potential now again for this pulse. I really would like to have a segment about this pulse. Will you take that away from me if you can?
Yeah, so Pulse Noski in this situation was there pretty much every round. As far as I can tell, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but he has not missed a single beat here. And this will make him predictable to some extent. I mean, it only takes IQ half a moment to know where he is, and then a coordinated anti-roaming push from the broad team. Let's say 3 or even 4 of the attackers to sweep into the archives, and using that coordination, Noski would be done for without the broad team losing any players. At the same time, like, he is not really exposing himself, and he's feeding intel with minimal risk to his person. So this, so far, is going, well, as good as you might expect. He's not going to find himself in a firefight as long as he's not being pushed, and he's feeding his team intel. But last round, he was the last operator alive, and the defenders don't really have offensive gadgets. It's in the name of the team, so they're ill-equipped to take back the control of an objective, which the attackers have won from the defenders in the first place, putting Noski in the last round here in a very tough situation, which, as we all know, he was not able to come back from. So this is why the Romas are not going to be there too aggressively. As I say, this Motzi tries to go for the run out. It does not work. Levron here taking no damage whatsoever and will be taking care of a very serious threat. Also, since we know that Pulse is always downstairs, Motzi will be using... Gridlock. Levron will be using his track stingers at the staircases to the basement nonetheless. And the Nitro Cell was going to be the end here, I was going to say. So, Gridlock using her utility outside of the objective is going to weaken the attacker's push into the OBJ itself. But with her being dead, this will just cut everything short, I was going to say.
Well, walking back into the last 45 seconds of this round, it does seem like Jaeger is going to go on the big offensive flank for the attackers. He does seem to be going up the spiral staircase along with the Pulse. They are attempting to get back to the objective with only one Echo sitting on the actual site itself. Echo is going to be utilizing his drones up until the last second of the plan. His drone does get taken out, however, but with the defenders getting a very swift quad kill from the attackers, and that is going to be them wrapping up the round. Noski getting the immediate ace. Wow, that was a amazing job from him. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the actual plays themselves, most of them, but I can only imagine how absolutely groundbreaking that one was.
He really was intent on proving me wrong, so I was talking about how, well, he's feeding intel, but aside of that, he wasn't getting any kills, or he wasn't really repelling the push on the objective. Well, apparently you don't have to be on the objective. You can be 2 floors below, and you can still win the round for your teammates. Great job on Noski, and this really goes to tell you don't have to be anchoring on the OBJ. You can be miles and miles away as long as you know when and how to come back there. This is the ideal setting. The roamers, well, they should try to flank and well, in an ideal setting, the roamer is able to come back, flank the attacker, and shoot them in the back with a minimal risk to their own person, which, well, just happened here, right? Noski did not take too much fire. The perfect example of that would be the Nitro through the floor. So Gridlock here had no real way of defending herself in that situation.
Alrighty, well, as we wrap up the conversation on the previous round, we are going to be talking a little bit about this round. So this round is technically the first round of our role swap. I am
Yes,
quite
it is.
excited to see this round being played in full, especially considering that BRUHXO doesn't necessarily have a great performance on attack so far, statistically shown, but they might have an opportunity to kind of redeem themselves in that way and get a good chance at winning out their defense rounds and hopefully winning out a match point opportunity for themselves in the future.
So the thing I like to point out every time there's a role swap, or in every match, this is quite standard in my casting at this point. With the role swap come new playstyles. So for example, in the Katsu team, nobody was playing Kaid, but here on the BRUHXO side of things, you have Yiha, who will be jumping on the first opportunity to get out the TSG-12. So this will be bringing a puff of fresh air here into the game, as we will be seeing new metas or new ways to both defend and attack the objectives. The other thing I want to point out is Ashe. Is it just me, or did BRUHXO never play Ashe? They were, as far as I can tell, if my memory serves me correctly here, always bringing different type of utility operators and a simple face-to-face entry fragger, you shut up, I kill you, basically, type of operator were not really present. Katsu, or Thicc, not exactly rushing the way you would expect somebody to do in a round of casual. So this is a very flashy playstyle that just does not work out in a more serious setting. But still, he is definitely going to be the first one to put pressure on the objective. Stopping short right to drone for a few seconds, and that drone obviously is going to be known for the defenders. Therefore, Detox here will be peeking the angle to no avail. Nobody from the attackers was holding the angle at that very moment, as Thermite is opening up the hatches, thus turning some of the defenders' heads here. This could alleviate some of the pressure in the yellow stairs. Would Thicc just run down the staircase now? Apparently not. It's going to be Nog who will be opening up another wall in the garage.
So we can definitely assume quite a lot of hard breaching attempts are going to be made here, obviously with the Thermite on the hard breach along with the Thatcher, and unfortunately the defenders who actually can prevent the hard breach were both killed in action, so it doesn't really leave too much to prevent the attackers from actually walking into the objective through a hard breach. So with the 3v3 situation, with about 40 seconds left on the clock, it does leave a lot of possible outlets for the attackers to take advantage of if they so choose, especially with the Buck coming in above. Just as I say that, he does get a good opportunity to get the kill. He does take it, and Pulse coming in with a possible flank with the 2v2 situation now, and now a 0v2 with the attackers winning out and finalizing round 7 in all of its entirety. Wow, that was a pretty quick round.
So to be honest, I really did expect Pulse here to get the kill on the Buck, which apparently did not happen. He really wanted to get back on OBJ. Sadly, it did not bring the attackers, or the defenders, sorry, any advantage whatsoever. And sorry for my poor observing skills here. We only have 3 replays, 2 of them being the final kill and the final kill cam. So it's going to be quite redundant. I will try to do my best, or I'll try to do better next time.
Oh, and to remind you, they did actually play Ashe, one of the first rounds. BRUHXO
okay.
did, yeah. They did play her in the hopes of, I believe, putting out a kind of rush strategy, kind of attempting to blindside the defenders. Unfortunately, it didn't work, but... Or actually, no, it didn't work for that team, but... just kind of put the attention on something else. The BRUHXO team will be going below again. So it's kind of interesting to see the differences in the actual, play-by-play and strategy of the defenses, side by side, Katsu and BRUHXO, because, and that's going to be a team kill, but with BRUHXO team, they aren't really putting too much strategy into the bathroom, but more so taking an opportunity to hit for hard breaching. So they, with the bandit being put into place, with the Kaid, they really do put a lot of, attention into resisting the hard breach from the attackers. Unfortunately, it didn't work the first time around. Hopefully they will have a little bit more success this time. But nonetheless, like I said, they have quite a lot of different priorities, each team going into this, and it's very, very interesting to see the differences between them.
So with a 4v5 situation here, the BRUHXO team will have a really hard time to prevent the attackers from just pouring into the objective. We see very little roaming as well, so any and all operators that are not on the objective are really close by, and I don't think that this angle had been drawn. Leveron though will be put some tracks, stingers underneath his feet as he gets the kill, or as should I say, Pulse gets the kill, so he'll be taking some damage. Nonetheless, they brought this back to a 4v4 situation, to an even fight. So considering the round before it even started was favorable to the Katsu team, this so far at least is as good as it could go for the BRUHXO team.
Definitely. So even though there is a little bit of health deficiency in terms of the bandit, we are going to be seeing quite a lot of pressure from the attackers, especially them being able to get into those outlets that I was talking about where the defenders aren't necessarily peeking. It does speak a lot for their actual game sense and for their knowledge of really intel, droning, that type of thing. So yeah, and especially with the attackers attempting to get the quick plant down, it does very much go to show the actual knowledge of the attackers on the pitch. But we are going to be seeing a very quick round from the defenders. Quite a lot of kills within the kind of couple seconds that is going on with the last, I believe, minute of the round. It did seem to shape up so far, you know, seemingly to an attacker round with the Thermite and the Thatcher supporting and attempting to plant, but it really was shut down by the smoke. So I would have to actually say, you know, even without the actual kill MVP they're on, I'd have to say he is strategy-wise, game sense-wise, even knowledge and intel. He's probably one of the MVPs of that round, especially being able to shut down the actual plant and getting the final kill.
Absolutely. So we had Smoke was the only one in the objective, right? The two only remaining defenders were off roaming, thus leaving him in a something along the lines of a 1v3 for the objective itself. The roaming game ended up being a game changer since they came out. They came back to the objective at the right moment. And let's just remind ourselves, BRUHXO was BRUHXO was in a 1v6 situation match point. They were not allowed any mistakes, backs against the wall, so to say. They were in a 1v4 situation, so you're not allowed any mistakes. The decks are stacked against you, and they won the round. It is not yet enough. They're not out of the woods yet, but this would be really good for the morale. If you're on the BRUHXO team, you're thinking, well, this is not going to end well, and there's a slimmer of hope. Now you can say, well, maybe, just maybe, we have a shot at this.
Definitely. So, speaking about that, let me take a quick look at this here. Yeah, so again, match point 2-6. We're going to be seeing Mozzie taking advantage of the buck there. Katsu, a big operator for Katsu, is going to be taken away from this round. There is going to be another attacker sitting on one of the admin windows. Mozzie hopefully will be able to disrupt that attempt. Oh, the attacker did get off the windows. It was Thicc who was sitting on the window. Ash, and yeah, she is definitely taking another route to the objective, which definitely is a good idea, especially now that she doesn't have a support operator on her back to, you know, help her out in the situation that she does get into a firefight. This being said, Lesion is going to take a little bit of damage here. You can take this away from me real quick. I do have to look at something.
Alright, absolutely no worries. So Lesion Yeeha here is roaming with great efficiency. We could see how many attackers here were pushing on those yellow stairs, and he was able to basically prevent them from entering the building. Really nice plays from Yeeha, even though he did not want to drag the firefight out more than necessary. He fired a few warning shots and then just backed out, knowing he was at a heavy disadvantage. Nonetheless, he was able to significantly delay the push. Obviously, this by now Hibana's Excaros are smoking, and the hard breaching phase of the round will be coming to an end. But yeah, it was about time the pressure came on the objective itself, and the Katsu team here might just win it. They're not out of the woods yet. They're still, I was going to say a 4v5 situation, but 3v5, sorry, 2v5. Thicc getting a first kill. Will he get a second one? No, he will be refragged really quickly, leaving us with Gridlock in a 1v4 situation. Gridlock, more of a support operator than an entry fragger. This is not going to be looking good. Obviously, whoever's up there is not going to run out. This would be way too easy for Katsu to prevent, and for Katsu. Sorry, I always think it's a gamer tag, but it's the team name. For Noski, it would be way too easy for Noski to shut down such a potential run out. But yeah, Gridlock, though Gridlock is a really good operator to plant the diffuser with those smokes, with those track stingers. You're more the kind of operator that would cover an ally rather than the kind of operator that would plant the diffuser on your own. And with that being said, it's still a 1v4. There's no real way for Noski here to plant a diffuser. Gets a nice first kill, but he was oblivious to that smoke in the bathroom. Anthony MGS getting a 3rd round for his team. BRUHXO team are really keeping the hope alive here.
Definitely. So yeah, it is going to be a possible comeback for them. Very exciting to actually see that happen in person, but nonetheless, it was quite a round for the defenders. They were able to bring back quite a lot of what they lost. I mean, I can't really comment too much about their actual performance, personal players, because I wasn't able to look at the actual match itself, but I will pass it off to you really quickly to analyze.
So I really want to focus my attention on the fact that we were on the first floor, main entrance, and press room, I believe are the English names for those bomb sites. We had just won a defense in garage, and rather than going CEO, they decided, the BRUHXO team here, to go on the first floor, which is really a tertiary site for just about any team that's out there. So I'm wondering why they chose to go on the first floor. And whatever the reasons, it turned out to be the right choice here. It turned out to be the right thing to do. I still am somewhat surprised or baffled by their strategy here.
Yeah, actually, same as well here, but we might be able to see something a little bit different from them with the coming rounds. Yeah, pretty interesting to see the way that they're actually prioritizing their sites. In effect, they did put a secondary site for the first floor, again, with the tertiary site being 3rd floor, which is normally a very big primary site for most defenders to go to, but again, I would have to also say that these teams are not normal. These teams are big, big timer, mostly pro league teams, so not really a big surprise that they would choose something out of the ordinary, something a little bit unorthodox, but it is, again, an opportunity for them to maybe throw off the other team.
So we can already see that the BRUHXO team is defending differently than Katsu. If you look at the objective, you will see 3 silhouettes on the objective itself. Leveron being on the first floor, dancing by the staircase. He just ran out. This might be the end of him. Will he get back in there? Apparently he will. Wow. Will he be expected at the entrance? Neither. This is honestly surprising to me. And Pulse, played by Yeeha, was once again in the archives part of the building, so this is exactly like Noski was playing previously, so you might expect the Katsu team to know, or to at least expect or suspect that that Pulse will be there, but they did nothing about it. Apparently there's some sort of a consensus that it's not worth going against the Pulse down there. He'll know you're coming. It's way too time consuming or something along those lines. Nonetheless, less roaming heavy meta here from the BRUHXO team. We're just going to be anchoring on site. I remember vividly how on Katsu we would have 3, 4, maybe even 5 operators outside of the objective, not exactly roaming all of them, but still. And this is exactly the opposite of what we're seeing here. You do have a lot of operators on the objective itself, with Hibana here taking a lot of damage to the back of her leg. That smoke is barely not going to kill her, but it will pin her down. A natural cell would be the perfect thing to do right now, but it's not going to happen. Smoke using a all-in-all precious piece of utility to no big avail, and it could have been way more important to keep on later on. He is almost ready to toss his last toxic babe there, and it will happen. With only 49 seconds remaining, the final push is set to happen shortly, and every player from every team is still up, so we are bound to see a lot of kills in very little time.
I actually do like the way that the Smoke was using his gas grenades, especially to prevent the actual planter from walking into the objective. We are going to be seeing, however, lots of kills going on for the attacking team. in effect mostly. It is going to be Katsu taking quite a lot of kills, and Habana going down to a very swift Nitro Cell. A lot more engagements now for the Mozzie himself. A 2v2 situation in effect. Mozzie did end up being a very big, a very vital operator in preventing the plant here. And now with Buck going down, it does seem like Katsu's one and only really attacker staying in the game here is going to be Noski. So being the gridlock, the Mozzie is going to take a little bit of an aggro push here. It is going to be wide swinging, and Noski takes advantage of this with his ACOG, putting us into a final game state. I believe it is 7-2.
3, 7-3. So yeah, this was a very nice game to watch. We were, well, not really expecting at this point, but the comeback was slowly but surely happening. It was cut short. Yeah, after 2 rounds. So everything that the BRUHXO team were able to do was to win 2 more rounds. But all in all, considering their previous track record up until that point, it was quite spectacular, as they were at a 6-1 score line. So in the time it takes your opponents to win 6 rounds, you are only able to win 1. Well, you don't really expect them to win more than even 1 round at this point, but they really did meet and surpass our expectations. Sadly, it was not enough to get a grip back on the game, and it was by a long shot not enough to win the map itself. Still, they've shown us that they're not willing to give up, and they're not willing to admit themselves defeated up until the very last moment. Noski pulling a little clutch as well, so let's not forget that. Let's just give him props for that. They had the advantage. They were in a 4v2 situation. We see the replays looping here again. And yeah, with Mozzie here getting a few kills, the tides were turning. Actually, they had turned. It ended up being a 2v1 for the other team. But Gridlock, played by Noski, was able to get a small comeback to prevent the big comeback from happening.
Yeah, I can agree with you more on your statement there, and yeah, I don't really have too much to add to that. You pretty much covered it all.
Wow, okay, sorry for the camera not giving any signal. Why are you doing this? Yeah, I just have upgraded the webcam to a DSLR. Not exactly DSLR, yeah, but a full-frame camera, and yeah, it turns off automatically. I'll have to fix this in the settings. But yeah, with that being said, so a big congratulations to the Katsu team. I feel, personally, if I was to be critical of our performance, like we could have put a bit more energy into this, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're gonna have to take a couple minutes to have a breather in between these rounds here. They do seem to be quite spaced out, especially with, yeah, it seems like 4 more teams need to take their matches into full time. So yeah, in that time we can kind of warm up, warm up our voices. You can warm up your English. I can warm up my English. But yeah, especially now that we're capping at 30 viewers, even at the end of it.
Yeah,
we definitely messed up a little bit there, but hopefully, next game we'll be a little bit more warmed up for you guys.
Oh, we absolutely will. This is not even a question. But until then, so if you guys don't know how this exact format works, it's not exactly a random Go 4 or a run-of-the-mill Go 4. Well, there are 9 rounds in total, and every round, well, you obviously play against a different opponent. The first, anybody who loses 3 rounds is out of the qualifiers. And we just keep on going, kind of like a simple elimination bracket, but it's a bit more complicated since you have to lose 3 rounds, one after the other. So this is why the next game is set to start in, by now, 30 minutes at 8:30. And we can cast just about any map or any game we want. So if you are a player or a friend or a fan of one of these teams, be sure to let us know who you want us to cast next, because once again, we are free to cast any map or any match, which isn't already picked by another ESL caster. And as far as I know, we are the only ones. Let me just check real quick. As far as I know, we are the only ones exactly so far casting in this tournament. So we basically have free reign. With that being said, though, since I don't think we'll be talking here or idling here in this screen till the next round starts, I will kick us into a be right back screen. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you in just about 30 minutes.
What's up, best? Yep.
What's up? What's up?
So we're back as the players are being quite loud. How is everybody doing? We are just about ready to start the second game of the night. Still with my wonderful co-host, Jenna, aka Girafro, or it's the other way around, isn't it? Girafro, aka Jenna. The next game of the night is going to be Bad Company, a Canadian team.
We want D. We want D.
against,
Shut your
against
bitch ass up.
Big juicy D. Big juicy D.
Sir, so
They are loud. The players in game were loud. Sorry, I just muted them. Now we'll be able to hear you without any background noise.
Alrighty, let me just introduce myself really quickly. I already have in the past, but I will do another one for the viewers currently. So, hello, all 21 viewers. Wow, that's crazy. We already got 21, and we were very, very idle for the past half an hour or so. So, thank you everybody for keeping up with the chat nonetheless. Hello, just to introduce myself. Hello, I am Jenna, aka Girafro. Hans already took that. He already took my whole thing from me, but regardless, I am here with Hans along with him. I'm
So make it
technically
orange
not an
starts first on
ESL
attack.
community caster quite yet. I'm not technically not 18.
Okay, orange
Good job,
team.
Rita.
But I
Nice, thank you,
am
thank you.
excited to be here, excited to be casting.
Okay, yeah, the
along
orange
with
team.
such
Sorry,
an amazing
the orange
production,
team is gonna be attacking first. Are you guys ready?
Got it.
We are ready.
Yeah,
Bad company's ready.
I'll make my introduction
All right, Team
short.
Thicc. Just to be sure, you'll be attacking first. Are you guys ready?
Keep it great.
So.
All right, let's go.
I'll take this as a yes. Good luck. Have fun.
Ready.
May the best team win. And sorry,
May the
Jenna,
best team
Yeah.
win.
yeah.
for
It's alright.
cutting you off there.
No, you're good, you're good. We gotta start the game up anyways. I had to cut myself off at one point. But, Bank as a map. So, let's talk about that a little bit. So, Bank as a map, it is a primarily pretty good hard breaching map for any operator that does choose to do so. It does have actual hard breaching opportunities for every single site involved, this being archives, lockers, and CEO up on the top floor. So, that being said, there is going to be a lot of bans geared towards hard breaching. Just as I say that, there is going to be a thermite ban. So, again, definitely have that in mind. Along with that, this map is fairly decently big, so we are most likely going to see quite a lot of defensive roaming bans on characters, possibly maybe even Vigil. I mean, I wouldn't say Vigil, but go that far, but we might see a little bit of intel operators being banned here, especially for the wide range of rooms for roamers, such as, open area, rooms like Heaven, that type of thing. We are going to be seeing our first defender ban, which is going to be Mira. So Mira is a very vital operator for quite a lot of strategies for defenders, so it is good, to take her out. She's a centerpiece for most defense strategies, so a lot of people actually have been planning and strategizing beyond her use, which is definitely a good play to go, especially on maps like Bank, where she does have quite a lot of high ban rates. So, that being said, our last ban shall be Echo. Like I said, the intel being taken away from the defenders is going to be very good for the attackers walking into this. So I would say, in summary, that the defense and the offense bans don't necessarily favor one or the other. They both were, or all four in technicality, were very good, very strategy geared bans, and I'm glad I got to see him that way.
So the first round, without any surprises, is gonna go lockers and CCTV rooms. Some teams like to defend CEO office first, and there has to be merit to that. It's a conversation we could have if we want to, but for the time being, no surprise is gonna come to us. The composition is just about what you would expect. A few roamers, this being Pulse played by Thunderbolt, and the other way around, Thunderbolt playing Pulse. And Bejan, I am sure to butcher your name here, so sorry about that. Playing Mozzie, so these two operators probably will not be on the objective itself once the attackers do spawn in. And the only thing that we may have seen that apparently will not be a thing this round is the hypothetical somebody in the blue stairs with a shotgun. It can be a smoke, well, smoke still yet might do it, or the most classical option would be that pesky Ella. The shotgun is just so terrible, and you do have the Grismont mines, which you can throw one after the other rather than stacking them up, right? So this is the only, I would say, standard-ish strategy, which I don't think will be happening this round. Definitely does not look like it's going to happen. But other than that, it really seems to be I've said it before, standard round. So it's going to be down to whoever has the best game sense and the best aim to see who's going to win the first round.
For sure. So, yeah, talking about the standard strategy, we definitely aren't seeing anything too out of the ordinary so far for this team, especially with the higher level play that they are currently playing at, with the obviously open qualifiers. We're going to be seeing Jaeger roaming open office along with the support of his counterpart, Mozzie. So, something quite interesting to point out immediately. We're going to be seeing lots of pressure into open area. It is a very big area for the attackers to want to hold, to want to contest. And this being said, they are going to already take advantage of top floor control. This does put a lot of pressure on the presiding defenders. Obviously, Mozzie was able to get back to the objective along with Jaeger, so they kind of caved in a little bit uh, in terms of that. But it is going to be a very good opportunity for the attackers to now have more area to possess, and just with their presence to take over quite a lot more of chances to get on the actual objective.
So I was gonna say Maverick had been sitting on the hatch for a few moments now, and he was deliberately choosing not to open it up. There seemed to be strategy behind that, but as I say this, well, he changed his mind and he is putting his breaching torch to work now. And yeah, so as you pointed out, all of the defenders are back on OBJ, so this is gonna be a face-to-face situation. Nobody is really gonna try to go for a flank, because nobody's really gonna try to shoot at their opponents from behind. Standard strategy and the superior aim, reflexes, and game sense are going to win the day. There's only 53 seconds remaining. The attackers yet have to breach into the objective. They yet have to find a clear way into the objective. Actually, Jaeger is going to be sure to keep any and all attackers at bay. And this is going to show there's only 40 seconds remaining. The only stroke of good luck that might yet happen is if Maestro Maverick, finds a way to get 1 or 2 cheeky kills and to drop down the hatch, because once again, Jaeger is still up, gets a first kill, will be refragged instantly, but with 25 seconds remaining, it is way too late to even begin to think about attacking the objective, as Smoke is using his toxic babes with only 19 seconds remaining. They're not going to be crossing through that doorway, so Maverick here has to work some magic, but he's just going to be dropping behind his teammates. Another smoke canister popping in, Maverick just rushing into the objective. That does not work. 1v4 situation, Thatcher taking damage, was firing blindly here. He tried, he was a trooper till the very end, but Bad Company team wins the first round after all. And really, I would say it comes down to a poor anti-roaming phase. The attackers were not able to flush out the roamers. Well, they did, but they didn't get the kills, right? So they only prolonged their troubles, or they pushed them back to the very last seconds, which is a point to which you cannot really afford to be hesitating or to be wasting time. So the initial anti-roam phase should have gotten the kills, and that may have given us a different ending here to the round. But all in all, a solid defense.
Yeah, I would actually like to make a quick comment on the actual decisiveness of the attackers. So we obviously did have a lot of different opportunities for the attackers to take quite a lot of vertical plays, take a lot of outlets into the actual objective, via it be the garage, the main stairs, any of the hatches that they had opened up for themselves, but they didn't necessarily choose any of them. Rather, they took to blue stairs, so they really all kind of bunched up in one outlet of the map, and even with the last about minute of the round, so they were not really setting the pace for themselves up very well. They were not playing to their strengths, which is the verticality that they held, and for the end there, they kind of just held dead ankles and gave the round up to the defenders.
It's quite interesting. I sadly missed where the castle barricades are. There's one here, one on that particular window, so it's definitely aimed towards blocking the attackers who would hypothetically rappel up the main wall there by the main entrance, and to try to find those cheeky cross angles. So that castle barricades, those castle barricades can come in really handy later on, and Doc will be using his gun and his person basically to try to counter it even more, as we have Mistro playing Maverick. Okay, yeah, Mistro getting a first kill on a really too aggressive bandit. I don't really know, or I didn't see the kill, so I don't really know how that happened, but when a defender, or when an attacker, is on the roof, well, if he gets the kill, it's because the defender peeked him, which in this case turned out to be a huge mistake for the blue team.
Definitely. With that being said, we are going to be put into an unfortunate 4v5 situation for the defenders, so they might have to be playing a little bit more passive throughout the rest of this round. It does seem to be so far mostly a turtle shred, if I do see the blue silhouettes here correctly. At least 3 operators, 4 operators are all going to be sitting in, or if not around, in very close proximity to the objective. So they are, again, playing very, very passive. They will have to turtle up for the most part. But again, with turtling on the CEO objective, therein lies the problem because there is quite a lot of outlets for the attackers to go through via, the actual windows themselves, the main windows, which the defenders are paying quite a lot of attention to, the actual, doors to the objectives themselves, just in general, lots and lots of areas. So we can definitely assume that the defenders are going to have to take a little bit of attention off of one subject to put onto another throughout the round. And with now a 2v3 situation, the Doc is going to have his eyes on Habana. He does not kill her though, and the castle gets taken advantage of now with a 1v3, 1v2 situation. As I say that, Habana does have low health, but she does have the diffuser. She's not quite around the objective yet, as close as the Thatcher is. Thatcher is watching the CEO office like a hawk through the Maverick holes. So if the Doc were to choose to get back into the objective, which he does seem to be doing, it is going to be up to the Thatcher to take him down, but Doc does have a stim capability, so he gets himself right back up and with good health to go. So, with the Habana and the Thatcher still being alive, they do have hard breaching capabilities open to them. Diffuser is going to be put down for the moment, with Habana getting a little bit more aggressive on the objective. And Doc, he might be able to make a vital flank for his operation here with about 1 second left. The diffuser is now going down. Doc taking the opportunity, and he gets the kill on the attacker attempting to plant the bomb. Habana was completely unaware.
What a round. To be honest, the thing I was gonna point out, if you had, if you were to have let me talked earlier a bit, no, not that it's an issue, but really the one thing I would have pointed out was that Hibana, being the bearer of the diffuser, was taking the risky route. Should she have been shot down by the main entrance there, somebody would have had to go back down, like right there. Should have Doc gotten the kill about right now. The diffuser would have been in a very difficult spot to recover with the short time remaining. This could have been a mistake that could have been quite costly to the attackers. Rather than that, the time ended up being their doom, and Doc's perfect, and I do mean flawless roam here, was really the single element that won the round. Sorry for the hiccups here, as the remaining attackers had absolutely no idea of his whereabouts. He just came back behind them, and, well, Thatcher was planting the diffuser, so it was up to Hibana to cover, and she just looked the other way, really expecting him to come from that other objective site.
Definitely. So, on Team Thicc this time around, we are going to be seeing something a little bit different, I believe, from the attackers. I think it is an IQ rather than any other operator. I'm not quite sure if they have played an IQ yet. You'd have to correct me on that one if I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I definitely do not believe they played an IQ yet. So, just taking a quick look at IQ as an operator, she is a very interesting operator to have. She is a very vital operator in quite a lot of situations to have, being a very, very straightforward utility operator. She does spot lots of enemy gadgets, and it becomes very useful for shutting down a possible Pulse player. Even though the defense is not playing Pulse, she does get the first kill of the round, which is going to be on Valkyrie in open area. Now, Jaeger is going to be holding the hatch in office, so we might be able to capitalize on the kill. As I say this, however, Smoke is going to be killed, putting us to a quick 2v4 now, with Mozzie and Jaeger being the only ones left on the objective, or really to defend it for that matter. They are not directly on the objective itself, so the objective, objectively, is actually open for the attackers to go and plant. However, again, it is being held from above, so angles are going to be vital for the Mozzie player here. Diffuser is currently down, so nobody is taking the chance to plant. Seems like intel gathering is going to be the way to go for about 140 left in the round. Again, very good to have a good pace for, whatever strategy you are going for. Habana taking a little bit more of an aggressive peek, though, on top floor. You can take it from here.
Yeah, so the two remaining defenders, though they have a good hold on the objective, aren't, as you mentioned previously, on the objective itself. So should the diffuser be planted, they would have little to no recourse to counter-defuse. that diffuser. So Titans here could make the difference for the round. So if he's able to get 1 or 2 kills, his position was no one gets the first kill, but the second one will just not happen as Mozzie has rotated the other way around. But that's not gonna mean much since Bestia, I was gonna say Bethesda. Wow, since Bestia was right there waiting for him, and he was absolutely ready.
Definitely
in
ready
all-
for the Mozzie.
All in all, a solid round. The first part of the round was pretty fast, right? IQ and her friends were rushing in. We see here, good kid, old dad, long nickname. Nonetheless, he gets a solid kill, even with a Guman in his foot. And Sledge getting a kill here, getting refragged quite rapidly. And nonetheless, this left us in a 2v4 situation, which stagnated for quite a while. Up until Hibana went for the flank here and Mozzie had to rotate because the attackers were Team Thicc. They were going to plant the diffuser right here in the teller's room, in the other objective, which name I'm forgetting right now, but the verticality hole on that bomb site was a bit weaker, right? So they really had to get back down as fast as possible, and they did, but their rotations, their predictable rotations, might I add, just have been cut off in such a tragic way. So Team Thicc here winning their first round, and it's a well-deserved round. They really cranked up the aggressivity last round, and it paid. It really paid. Let's just see if they're able to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, one thing to note from me is that they still kind of have that indecisiveness, that hesitation when walking out of the objective. It doesn't seem like anybody is really spearheading specific aggressivity onto the objective in complete specific, but I would like to definitely comment on how much better they really have been handling the aggressivity of the team. They have been playing a lot better with each other. They have been playing, with more chemistry towards the actual defenders and attempting to roam clear. So great kudos on them.
And one thing I'd like to point out, I was going to say compliment, but it yet remains to be seen. Bad Company are not whatsoever going for the same setup or for the same defense as they did the first round. So obviously, if you do the same thing over and over again, the enemy team is going to pick up on it and they're going to adapt to it. So having a totally different defense setup here is going to be refreshing for us as a spectacle, and for Team Thicc, who really don't know what they're going to be going up against, or if they think they're going to be going against the same strategy than last time, well, they will be working on wrong intel, which could prove costly to them in the future. So this is basically as if we were still in the first round for those strategies, or for the meta, basically.
So
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
If I were to correct you on the meta that we're seeing here, it actually has been played before. Top floor, especially, not with the castle quite, but it's a little bit more of a modified version of the meta that the defense team was using before. They were holding the hatches of open area, but they do normally cave in before anything truly does happen to them, so it normally ends up being a lost engagement for them in general and just lost control. But obviously we see Castle is going to be a possible flank operator for the defense team. Does not seem like the attack has any knowledge whatsoever of where the castle is. Now he is going to be sneaking up on looks like the Maverick. Yes, it is going to be the Maverick going down to the castle. Unfortunately, he doesn't get any other operator in that chaos, but the attackers have now moved down all the way to blue, with Castle attempting to kind of stay in the same area that he was. Capital is now going to be holding more so angles on the open area. Doesn't exactly know where the castle is. No real intel on that, it seems like, for the attack, but he might be able to get it soon, especially with the hard breaching situation going down. We might have to see a flank.
So the diffuser is being planted. Apparently the defenders knew about it, so the naturally got tossed. It was able to flush out Hibana, who just gets back in, gets back at planting the diffuser, will be fragged by Castle. This is something I realized immediately with the hatches being opened and being kept or being protected by the defenders. This was going to be the perfect opportunity or the perfect tool to prevent the diffuser from being planted. Usually at this stage in the round, right, the attackers would have control of the verticality, would have control of the hatches, and would use them to make sure, or to ensure the diffuser being planted. Here it was actually the polar opposite. The attackers, though they were able to breach the hatches, or no, the defenders even opened them up themselves, didn't they? So by just making sure to keep the top floor open to them, they were able to get an easy kill on Hibana here, and then on Thatcher, I believe. Oh no, Sledge was the last operator alive, and they didn't need to play verticality to get that kill. Wow, I'm having memory issues here, but nonetheless, yeah, the verticality was, in my opinion, the turning point of that round.
Definitely can agree with you on that one, but yeah, looking at these replays here, they are quite the literal spectacle. But yeah, walking into our 5th round now of regulation is quite a showing of true skill and talent from each team. I really love to see the excitement from each round, because Team Thicc obviously putting up a very good opposition for bad company, but unfortunately they aren't able to capitalize on as many rounds as you would hope they would. But being that they do have a new team composition here, bringing the knock, it looks like they might be playing a little bit more stealthy this round, so I would love to see something along the lines of that, possibly along with a quite a lot of fragging opportunities for her.
What I do like to see is some sort of a heavy emphasis on hard breaching. So you have Hibana, Maverick, and then Thatcher, who's obviously going to be there to support Hibana. So over half of the team basically has as a main job to just open up the objective. So by extent, you could say IQ and Knock, played by a good kid old dad, would just be the typical entry fragger / the ones who will just have to clear out the roamers. This is kind of an all or nothing situation, since you have, I don't want to oversimplify, but to keep it simple, maybe too simple once again, two playstyles, entry fraggers and hard breacher. So this is an all or nothing situation, and you don't really have too many different utility types in the game. So to me, it does seem as if it's going to come down to the kills themselves, because you won't have too many exotic gadgets or exotic opportunities at your disposal as an attacker here.
Yeah, but transitioning to the actual attack now, we're going to be seeing a lot more angles being held for Garage this time around. Again, Hibana does have Diffuser, pointing out the comment you made a couple rounds ago. She is playing quite an aggressive angle for only having the Diffuser, and she isn't really playing a main hard breaching player. She's rather playing more so a kind of droning and fragging attempted operator, which is something that an operator like even IQ or possibly even Knock would assume. But we're going to be seeing, as I speak, the first kill from Knock and a quick refrag onto IQ. We're going to be seeing a second kill on Knock, but yet again a refrag for a 3v2 situation now with Maverick and Hibana left to execute on the objective. They do have a minute left, so they do have quite a lot of time to prepare a strategy for themselves, and especially with Hibana still bearing the diffuser, they do have still a good chance at actually wiping out the defenders, possibly getting a plant and winning out the round.
Nonetheless, they'll have to do it quite rapidly, because the timer is slowly but surely running out. We're not yet at a critical point, but with their positions being known, obviously they'll be expecting stiff resistant Maestro here. Mistro getting downed by Jaeger, and in the time it took me to read the gamer tag, Bastian, once again Castle, simply was just waiting for Hibana. This was an uphill battle, and they were just not able to come back off of this unfavorable situation.
Definitely. So, again, a very, very interesting round indeed, without Hibana playing on the main windows. Did not necessarily get an opportunity to frag up until the end, and at that point, I still do not believe she got a fragging opportunity, if I am correct. Yeah, it was only Maverick, I believe, that even got close enough to the objective. Yeah. Unfortunately, they were both shut down before they can actually reach the objective, so it really was a lost round by the time that the knock went down for her team. So it was actually a very good strategy and a very good attempt for the knock to take, but it was very, very quickly shut down due to the lack of intel. So truthfully, I believe if that the attackers can pick it up and can attempt to drone themselves out more, get more intel, get more info as to where the defender's positioning is, they really do have a sturdy chance of, predicting and being able to take away the defenders from where they are.
Speaking of intel, it's quite interesting because Jackal has not been banned and he hasn't yet been played even once. So you pointing out that the attacking team, Team Thicc, is kind of short on intel and that they're paying the price for it. Jackal or a similar operator could be an interesting choice. It does not appear to be the case that they want to pick him or that they want to bring him to the forefront. But still, he is a notable exception or a notable well, absent, should I say, simply because he gets banned so often that you would expect him to be always there when he's not banned. It appears not to be the case here, with 2 cameras being quickly shut down by Bestia. Definitely the defenders here, Valkyrie in particular, were expecting the attackers to come from that side, but I don't really see any defenders ready to receive the pressure of these hypothetical, or in this case very real, attackers choosing that balcony as an entry point into the building. So if you just rotate real quick, we have a roamer, Valkyrie of all people, in the basement, and the other ones that aren't exactly the objective. For example, Mozzie here, though he's not exactly anchoring, he's right by the objective, so he is not roaming by any stretch of the imagination. Their only roamer is not going to be holding a very pertinent angle at this time. So really, for the objective itself, it's looking like a 4v5 for the time being. Valkyrie really has to come back or to find a way to make herself useful, because right now I don't see her contributing to her team too much.
So far we are seeing a very similar, unsurprisingly enough, team composition from the attack. Obviously we're going to be bringing IQ, Thatcher, Habana, Maverick, and Zofia, and they do really every round seem to be taking over the same spots. So like kind of we've been saying throughout this whole time we've been casting, as long as you take these same routes and as long as you give them that predictability that the defenders want, they will be able to counter it and they will be able to adapt to it as time goes on. So in the occurrence that they do actually continue their same strategies, they might find themselves in a very tight position in terms of adaptability from the defenders. But as I say that, 3 of the defenders have gone down in the collision of the attackers. Wow, that was a very quick round. The plant wasn't even needed from the attackers. It was really simply just holding angles on the roamers.
And I would like to correct myself. It took me a bit of time to realize what exactly Valkyrie was doing, but I did figure it out, and it was actually quite clever. So we will just look at the replays. Then once we're back into the main game, I will be able to use the free camera to show what she was doing. But basically, she was looking at the hatch that had been blown open by IQ. And she was covering the angle where IQ was. So to some extent, she was covering that doorway, which IQ just peeked and got the kill on Legion off of. But yeah, you're working with a quite limited angle or angular vision. So your reaction time will be very short. You'll not be allowed any mistake or any hesitation whatsoever. Nonetheless, should have IQ been standing there with Valkyrie at the basement, it could have been a big mistake. Let's just jump back into the game to let me show you real quick what I mean, but I do think you guys understood. So she was by that hatch right here, so you know where she was. And this gives you a tight, and I do mean tight angle on, well, that doorway, right? Therefore, and attackers, the ones who come through there, will have to run by Valkyrie first. So the angle was quite clever, but it was really limited, and should you fail in getting the kill, you have to run back up the staircases, which is also a very, and I do mean very predictable rotation point. So a double-edged sword, which did not end up paying out that round. Yeah. But next round maybe, or next time maybe, it will work out differently.
Obviously, though, the defenders will be going bottom floor with their primary site being opened up yet again. This is going to be at the first round, actually, sorry, of the role swap. So just as I say that, it actually is the role swap now. So Team Thicc, obviously, being on the defense and Bad Company being on the attack. So it is a little bit of a switch up. And with the first kill of Team Thicc, now they are going to be getting it from Doc to Thatcher. Doc being able to stem himself up and being able to stay on first floor tellers. So Sledge is going to be opening up the tellers area in CEO. So he is going to be putting quite a lot of pressure on the Doc in order to roam clear. And as I say this, Doc is going to be taken out from the distraction by Maverick. So with the roam presence basically dissipated from the defenders, with a couple exceptions being Valkyrie for one. We will be, for the most part, seeing not too much roaming going on for the defenders. That being spoken about. Doesn't leave too much questions as to where the defense is. Now, I know what you're all saying is that the Valkyrie is actually roaming along with the Jaeger, but they are roaming in very close proximity to the site, so you can definitely say that there is not, again, very many questions about where their actual positions are, especially that they're being droned now. So there is going to be an engagement going on between the Sledge and the Valkyrie, with no avail, unfortunately, for her, but the Habana does capitalize on the kill. Finally, down blue stairs, but we are going to be seeing a droning opportunity go on for Team Thicc, and Jaeger trying to take advantage of the Sledge going down the stairs. Unfortunately, no kill for him, but in a 2v4 situation, he might have to get back to the objective very quickly.
He actually will have to get back to the objective, as we have Maestro that gets flushed out in the meantime, but all of that is going to be for naught because Hibana was able to prevent the rotation. And the attackers were in an ideal situation there. Like, there was no way, realistically speaking, that Jaeger was going to come back on the objective and prevent a hypothetical diffuser being planted, should he had chosen not to peek and to play it a bit more defensively. So this was quite a nice round, but with the first round of the role swap, we may have just seen the tables turn, or it would have been a possibility that the tables would turn should the defense be so much of an advantage on that map. It is a defense heavy, but not by that much. So yeah, or maybe the one or the other team is just so good at defending and so bad at attacking. But it turned out not to be the case of what we had previously, the previous rate at which both teams are winning rounds. Apparently, so far, will just remain the same. And thus, it's a 5-2 scoreline, and the end of the map, or the end of the game, will be happening, well, pretty shortly, should, once again, the current rate at which both teams win rounds, well, stay the same.
Alright, yes. So, going into now our 7th round with the 5-2 scoreline from Bad Company, we are nearing the point of no return for Bad Company and Team Thicc. So we might be able to see some good plays from Team Thicc to pull this back within the next round or so, if they do so choose to stay in this competition. Now, with that being spoken all about, hopefully we are going to be seeing lots of more plays from these teams in order to really just stay in the game itself. I'm quite excited to see what this round holds, because it is a very big determining round for the chances of really Team Thicc to bring this home.
So quite interestingly, we're kind of doing the same defense strat for Team Thicc here as we did last time, but just heavier or more aggressively. Last round, we had basically just Doc roaming, and it worked out. He got a kill before getting flushed out, so it was one life for one life, not really a big win on that front, but he was able to waste a bit of time from the attackers. So all in all, he did just as good as you might expect a single roamer, or a lone roamer, should I say, to do. This time, however, he won't be alone. He'll be helped by Jaeger, who'll be at the top floor. Sadly, Jaeger does not get much done, and Matzi here will be basically alone and surrounded by just about every attacker that you could think of right now. They will be coming in from different angles, and he is sure to be drawn shortly. That drone, however, was a distraction, and it was a perfect distraction. Doc, however, in the meantime, came back upstairs to try to help his teammates, and he too will be flushed out without getting a single kill. A 2v5 situation now with over half of the round remaining. This is not looking good for Team Thicc. However, should I be playing the devil's advocate here? The defenders that were outside of the objective were not really behind the reinforcement and the preparations that the attackers, or the defenders, sorry, have set up. So you create a fortress, an unpenetrable fortress, well, a stronghold basically on the objective, and the roamers willingly went out of that stronghold. So that kind of put them at a disadvantage, which I did not really expect the two remaining defenders to do as well. So I really expected them to stay in the objective. Apparently, even Valkyrie and Maestro were a bit too roam happy, should I say, and that ended up costing them, rather, as every single one of the defenders has died outside of the objective. And to me, that speaks of a fundamental mistake. Or it seems to me, at least, as if this ending could have been slightly different.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the defending team is getting a little bit trigger happy and very aggressive when attempting to get the kills. I really think that if they did take a second to, you know, assess the situation and attempt to get a little bit more intel as to where the attackers are, they really could benefit from different engagements, different situations that they walk into. You know, they were the ones basically, you know, getting the pace set on them that round, so the attackers are really setting the pace for that round, especially coming in and being able to frag out all of the roamers within about the first minute and a half of the round. That is quite a feat for a team that is especially semi-pro at this point.
So we are now put in a match point situation. The scoreline is 6-2. And for the possibly last round, the Team Thicc, the orange team, is going to be defending the top floor. So the CEO office, and I never remember what this second bomb site is technically called. Do you mind refreshing my memory? What's this called? Meeting room or something?
I believe it's going to be called some type of office. I'm not quite sure. But oh, we are going to be seeing a spawn peek from Team Thicc, and unfortunately a lost one at that. And surprisingly enough, it is going to be coming from an operator with an SMG rather than somebody like a Maestro with an ACOG that can see from farther distances. And with that, we're going to pivot very quickly to Habana. Now, with an engagement between her and Maestro, she does seem to be grabbing one of the walls inside or around the objective, and hopefully might be able to see actually some hard bridging going on from a very, very far distance. It actually is pretty. Actually, I haven't seen that strategy happen before, but hey, you know, everything is new, I guess, in higher level play.
It definitely is, though it is quite unfortunate to lose smoke of all operators at the very beginning of a round with a well, unsuccessful spawn kill. Vigil using the boss G12 with a newly added ACOG. He, for example, could have been the spawn killing operator here, because, well, smoke's utility is the kind of gadget you do want to keep in the team, or at least in your arsenal, till the last moments of the round. So losing him at the very beginning is a big loss, a way bigger loss than losing Valkyrie would have been. Valkyrie, who just gets 2 kills and will be downed immediately after. It's now a 2v3 situation, but it could be brought back up to a 3v3, assuming Maestro is able to revive her. And that hypothetical revive would leave us with Jaeger in a temporary 1v3 situation. Will he be able to hold off the pressure? Answer should be yes, since the immediate threat is going to be limited to Jackal. So yeah, and Valkyrie has yet to be revived, so he could even finish her off, thus guaranteeing that it's gonna stay a 2v3 situation, sorry. But as I say this, he gets a nice kill, and here, will the wallbang work? Yes, it does, but Valkyrie has just been revived. Whoa, I did not expect that, but yeah, bad company. It was gonna win round 9, thanks to Beastian, and though he had the shotgun in his hands once we switched to him. What a nice cheeky angle he got with the C7 here. Bad company winning the game.
Yes, sir. It was actually quite a good game coming from Bad Company. I do have to commend them on their overall chemistry and their plays with each other. They did play a lot off of intel, more so than Team Thicc did on their attacking rounds, but nonetheless, it was quite a vengeful game. I would have to say kudos on both teams for trying their absolute hearts out. Unfortunately, they did not come out on top, that being Team Thicc. But, you know, you do love to see it when there is a good brawl going down. We did see quite a lot of those throughout this game, and overall, I'm actually, for it being the bank map, I am quite happy to see the proceeding of this match.
So, with all that being said, the frame rate always drops like crazy whenever we have that transition. For some reason, yeah, the computer is not able to handle it. But yeah, this is going to be it for us tonight. I believe there is yet a round in that in the Thicc Invitational's open qualifiers. But I don't know if people could tell, but we are getting somewhat tired. And for quality's sake, I think we'll go and get some rest and come back even stronger than before. Tomorrow, we're still on tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What
great.
time actually is the...
It's the same time as tonight, as
Alrighty.
every night. So yeah, thank you again for being here. And yeah, we were we were on a streak yesterday, which we were not able to keep for tonight. So yeah, it really does come down to the fact that we're somewhat tired because we stayed too late yesterday. So I will be sure to do the responsible thing and go to bed early tonight, just to be back tomorrow with even more energy and even more high level casting. This Thicc Invitational Open Qualifier is really interesting. We do see even higher level play than in the typical run-of-the-mill Go 4, and I do like that, since as an ESL caster, we're kind of limited to the, open entry tournaments from ESL, so this is by far, I'd say, the highest level of casting we've done ever, as far as I know. So I just want to thank ESL for hosting this tournament, basically.
Sir.
Do you have anything to add to that before we cut off the stream?
No, I actually don't.
Well,
You about covered it.
with all that being said, as I've said quite a few times, this will be it for us tonight. So thank you all for being here. And let me just finish up the replay scene. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
cover this.